about the role of catharsis in music, not only for the listener, but for the people who make it. And two records kind of inspired this line of thinking. The solo cello record by the composer Janel Leppin, it's called Slowly Melting, and the first album in 10 years by the metal band Neurosis called An Undying Love for a Burning World. And I'll start with the first one, with Janel. Janel is somebody who I know. She's been a part of the Washington, D.C. experimental improv and kind of like indie and punk scenes for well over a decade now, probably even longer, but kind of like started making her mark with her solo debut a decade ago. And one thing I've always known about Janel is that she wears her heart on her sleeve, and you hear it in her music. And I remember that very first solo debut record, which was also cello based. It was angry. It was written during Trump's first administration. And you feel everything a little bit different when you live in DC during whatever administration comes through. I've lived here now 20 years, so I've seen quite a few administrations kind of like change things, challenge things for better, and sometimes very much for worse. And that first record, you could hear the anger in her cello, even though I believe most of that record was instrumental. And would see her perform during that time, and she is shredding, she is thrashing, and to feel that, you see it in the music. And it's cathartic, I imagine, for her, but also for anyone who is there to witness it. Now, because I've known Janel, and because we are friendly, I see her around town, I've seen how I've seen her become more politically astute. I know that she's involved in a lot of organizing and protests. And I think as a result, even though she likely still has anger about how things are moving and turning out in the world, she has far better coping mechanisms. And for this record, Slowly Melting, I think that bears out. I recently saw Janel Leppin. She did an album release show at Rhizome here in DC, and she performed many of the pieces from the new album at that show. And I just saw how, even though a lot of the new pieces are very fuzz driven, she's got these gorgeous backing. She's got these backing tracks filled with like piano and guitar and bass, and she is playing cello on top of it. And there's still a lot of anger there. She's still working something out, but she has made a certain peace, or at least a certain understanding about her role, not only as a musician, but as a person in the world. And how mature, right? I mean, I think you still want to be angry about and have feeling about the world, but it's how you use that anger, right? And I could see that. I could see that in the performance. I can hear that in this record, which, imagine if Godspeed You Black Emperor was reduced to one single musician, and was really into avant-garde improv and like probably sun. Like let's be real. Maybe like some nice sun-like tones are happening on this record. Maybe not as loud. Which brings me to my next record, The First in 10 Years by Neurosis. Now this is a band that has meant a lot to the metal community, to music at large, and most personally to me. When I was started to get into metal, 25 years ago, or 25, 30 years ago, the bands Isis and Neurosis and Slayer, those were kind of like my three at the time. Those were those, and Black Sabbath, because you gotta have Black Sabbath. But those were like the four bands that were extremely informative to how I understood heavy music. This record dropped out of nowhere. Just a little over a week ago, they announced and dropped the whole thing at the same time. And it comes with baggage, because the thing that happened in 2022 is that a founding member of the band, Scott Kelly, publicly admitted that he had left Neurosis, but not only that, he had left because he had systematically abused his family. Now, this was devastating. As I was on All Songs Considered recently on NPR, and as I told the host Robin Hilton, it not only hurt the survivors of this abuse, but the metal world at large was just, I think, bereft. Because here's this band that understood how to communicate mental anguish and physical pain in a way that was epic and felt bigger than life itself, and felt honest, and suddenly we as listeners, as fans, and as the band itself needed to reckon with this new piece of information. And they went on hiatus, and when the announcement came about this new record, the first question, I'm sure, was on everybody's mind as well: who's the other guitar? Is there another guitarist? Is there another singer of the band? And they really couldn't have picked somebody better than Aaron Turner from the bands Isis and Sumac, a person who's definitely raised on Neurosis, took their sound to heart and made it his own. And I've only spent a week with this record, but I was texting with my friend Grayson Curran, who's a great writer that I'm sure you've seen his work all over the internet and print pages. I was texting with him and I said, I think this record is good, but it might actually be great, which is unexpected for a band that's been gone for a decade, A, B, that lost like a very crucial member, adding somebody new, and there's just all this and then not to mention the fact that the metal world changes, the music world changes, the world itself constantly in flux. How does Neurosis hit in 2026? But as it kind of bears out, Grayson wrote a Best New Music review for Pitchfork that just dropped. So I think we're on the same page. I think An Undying Love for a Burning World is a great Neurosis album. And for a lot of reasons. It captures what makes Neurosis so thrilling. It's epic, it's elegiac. This record really leans into psychedelia in a way that's like hitting me hard. That's definitely like psychedelic music has always been a part of Neurosis, but Aaron Turner, I think, amps it up just like a little bit to a way that's very satisfying. And throughout the lyrics and the music, you hear a band contending with the pain and the loss, not only of how they exist in this world, but how they exist with each other. You can obviously hear in this music that they are reckoning, they are reconciling, they are putting themselves out there saying, like, we have gone through hell, but we still love each other. We still love to be in this world, and we think it's a world worth fighting for. And that's a different kind of catharsis, right? Having a defiant attitude about the fire, having a defiant attitude about the bullshit, really. But knowing that it can be better and should be better, and the only way that we do that is through. And I hear that in this music. And when I've been thinking about catharsis and music, a band, and Neurosis is absolutely a band that has proven to be cathartic for me, both on record and the few times that I've seen them live. It's like, when does catharsis, when is it not needed? Why must we always be in catharsis? Because does that mean we're always in crisis? That's a question I keep asking myself, and I don't have an answer to. But I think the thing that both the Neurosis record and the Janel Leppin record sort of answer that. They basically say, we're probably always going to be in crisis. Or at least there's always going to be a bunch of bullshit going on. But it's how we respond, and it's how we not just react, but act upon the crisis. And the music articulates that need. The music is, to use an academic term, extra textual. It adds something that words, and particularly written words or spoken words, can't. And that's kind of the thing that I'm taking away from these two records. You'll find tracks from both Neurosis and Janel Leppin on the latest Viking's Choice mixtape. Thank you for joining me on my errand run. I hope y'all have a great week.